Hi everyone, what is up? Welcome back to my channel, Glam By Sam. For today's video, we need to talk about the new holiday releases because for me, the holiday releases are the most exciting part of the year makeup wise, and I'm really looking forward. And then yesterday and the day before, some new holiday releases were released that I'm so excited about, and I need to share them with you guys. And I know I recently did a new makeup releases will I buy it video, and I don't normally do these this close to each other, but since there were so many new fun releases, I thought I would sit down and go over these releases and share whether I'm planning to pick them up, and also just to inform you about all the fun holiday makeup releases that are coming, and also some slightly disappointed ones. So if you're curious to see some of the new holiday makeup releases and my opinion on it, then please keep watching. So I've just moved to the side like I always like to do with these videos, so I can insert all the photos right here on the screen. Now I know Trendmood posted a lot of these, so the photos I'm going to be using are from Trendmood's Instagram, which I will have linked down below, and then also Sephora France posted some spoilers of the holidays. So I'm going to start with the thing that I saw a lot of people on Instagram were really excited about, and those are the new Hourglass palettes for the holiday. Now if you don't know, Hourglass releases new holiday palettes every year. I got one last year, and this year they of course release new ones as well. So they are going to be releasing 3 different palettes, and I know Hourglass has kind of gotten a lot of hate over the past year because they are not inclusive for all skin tones, and that is something that definitely bothers me with Hourglass, but I did want to share these releases because I think they slightly improved, but they're still not there yet. So they're going to be releasing 2 big palettes, which are 5-pan palettes. Last year they did a 6-pan palette, and now there is like 1 bigger pan palette. So these palettes are called the Ambient Lighting Edit Universe and then the Ambient Lighting Edit Universe Unlocked palette. And these have a sort of like marbled design on the outer packaging. These shades look really pretty. So in the lighter version, we have a big Ambient Lighting Infinity powder, and then we have a blush called Vibrant Heat, which is a strobe blush, and it's actually a new shade. Then we have a blush called Luminous Rose. It looks like a really pretty deeper rose shade. This is also new. Then we have the Glistening Bronze Light Bronzer, which looks pretty deep, but it looks really pretty. And then we also have the Supernatural Strobe Light Strobe Powder. So these are all new powders, I think, apart from the big pan. And I have to say, they look really, really pretty. I think Hourglass always does a really good job at making these like marble powders look so pretty. But that is the first one, which I think is more catered towards lighter skin tones. But then we have the second one, and I think this is catered towards deeper skin tones. However, I don't really think this is a really inclusive palette from looking at these promo photos. But maybe in real life they will look deeper, I'm not entirely sure. But this one has a Radiant Light Finishing Powder in the big pan. Then we have 3 new shades. We have the Rose Heat Blush, which looks like a really pretty deep plum blush. I do like how that is looking like. Then there is a blush called Coral Flush, and this looks like a really pretty deep coral shade. Then the bronzer is called Radiant Bronze Light, and this is not a new shade, but I'm actually surprised because I don't think this bronzer is really that deep. So it's kind of like a weird thing, in my opinion, to put that in this like deeper palette, but I could be wrong, I'm not entirely sure. But I thought that bronzer wasn't like really deep. And then there is a Solar Strobe Light Powder, which is a new shade, and that definitely looks a bit deeper than the one on the right. But on these promo photos, it's kind of like hard to tell how inclusive these palettes are really going to be. I have my doubts about them. I think they definitely could have done better by maybe releasing a third like really deep palette for people with deeper skin tones, because these Hourglass palettes are just never really that inclusive. That being said, I'm not going to be picking this up unless they get like heavily discounted maybe after the holidays. But I still have my one from last year. I'm not even close to hitting pan on that. So I really want to get my use out of that one before I add a new one to my collection. Then, speaking of Hourglass, they also created a new 3-pan palette. So this is the new Ambient Lighting Palette Volume 3, and this is for medium to deep skin tone. So these have 3 different shades, and I have to say I'm happy to see that Hourglass is trying to be more inclusive. Again, from this promo photo, it's really hard to tell how deep this palette is actually going to be. But from these photos, I have to say it definitely does look like a nice deeper palette for deeper skin tones. And all three of these products are releasing on September 24th, which is my birthday. So that could be a nice birthday present to myself, but I'm not buying it. I don't need these. So those are the new Hourglass releases. New palette from Too Faced. Of course, we have seen the Too Faced Cinnamon Roll palette, which I think looks absolutely adorable. Haven't picked it up yet because it's not available here. But now that I'm seeing this palette, I'm like, maybe I want this one instead. So this looks like it's going to be called the Christmas Coffee Palette, and I have to say the outer packaging of this, absolutely adorable. It looks like a beautiful light blue packaging, kind of like my sweatshirt, really pretty. And then it has this like coffee cup on there with a gingerbread man. And then from the inside, it's a little hard to see, but it looks like some really pretty warm tones with a deeper red, and then also like a really pretty metallic blue shimmer. So I think I can say I'm definitely going to be picking up this palette because I do love the Too Faced palettes. I know that's kind of like an unpopular opinion nowadays, but I really like these, especially the Christmas palettes, and I'm just a sucker for cute packaging. And then they also release new cardboard palettes, and I have to say I'm not excited about these, simply because from what I've heard over the last couple of years is that these do just not live up to the quality of their tin packaging. That being said, it looks like we have two eye palettes, one with like an Eiffel Tower theme, and then one I think with like a Beverly Hills Hollywood theme palette. And I have to say the packaging looks cute. Too Faced always does a good job with the packaging, so I definitely think this can be a nice makeup gift, but maybe for someone who's a bit younger and doesn't have a lot of palettes, like someone who's maybe getting into makeup and doesn't need like a brand new Natasha Denona palette. But for me, I have Natasha Denona palettes in my collection. I have palettes with really good quality. So for me, there's just not really a point in picking this up because I just have products that are better quality. At least that's what I'm assuming from the products I've seen and reviews over the last years. But then there's also something that looks like a blush palette. Again, I don't really care about these, but if you like the Too Faced cardboard packaging, then this could maybe be nice for you. I'm not picking it up, but it looks pretty. Then we have a new Natasha Denona palette, and I'm actually surprised that this photo is actually released before it launched, but Sephora France posted this, and this is the mini Metropolis palette. Now, I've always wanted the Metropolis eyeshadow palette. It's a really big one, but it's like $129, I believe, so that is so out of my budget. So I'm kind of excited to see that there is now like a smaller 5-pen palette of this. But that being said, this just looks like a mini gold palette. I wish she added a bit more of like different shades from the Metropolis palette instead of these ones, which just exactly looks like a smaller version of the gold palette. And in this photo, you actually see it next to the Too Faced palette, and they do look really similar. So I'm not entirely sure if I'm going to be picking this up. And I also think this palette is going to come with an eyeshadow brush, so if that brush is free, then that's like a nice deal, but if you have to pay extra for the brush, then I'm not sure about this release. I'm not sure if I need this. It looks pretty, but like that mustard shade, I have those shades in my Naked Honey palette, and that Too Faced palette has a blue shimmer as well, so I'm not sure if I'm going to be picking this up, this mini Metropolis palette. But I do think the Natasha Denona mini palettes are a great way to try the brand for a lower price point. Then there's going to be a couple of new makeup releases from Nars, including a face palette. And if you've watched some of my recent videos, you know how much I love my Nars Exposed Cheek palette. I think it's absolutely stunning. So there's going to be like a lip balm set, a mascara set, like a blush set. I don't really care about those, but the two products I want to talk about is the face palette and the eyeshadow palette. So the face palette looks really pretty, but I'm not entirely sure how to feel about it. But the shades do look really pretty, but from this photo it's like a little hard to tell how they're going to be looking in real life. But it looks like there's going to be a really pretty champagne highlighter, some like deeper brown tone blushes, and then like a coral blush and a more deeper plum blush. So I do want to try more from Nars now that I have tried the Exposed palette, but I never really buy these right away. I got my Exposed palette like 2 years later. I also still really want to try the Orgasm on the Beach palette that they released for the summer, so maybe I'll get that one first on sale because I'm a bit more drawn to that one than this one. I think the Nars blush palettes are always a pretty nice deal for your money. So then Trend Mood also posted this photo from a new Tarte palette. I think they look quite cute. So it looks like there's going to be a Tarte Sweet Double Shot palette from Sugar Rush, and then also a like Sweet Frosted palette. It's kind of hard to see on these photos, but it looks like the Sweet Double Shot, it's going to be kind of like coffee themed, and it's going to have a warm toned color story, and then the Frosted palette looks like a beautiful pink color story. I think from what I can tell now, I'm not going to be picking this up. I like that they did something different with like the pants. It kind of looks like the swirl, but I'm not really into like the warm toned color story. I have enough warm toned palettes for how much I wear them. And then the pinky color story looks really pretty, but I literally just got the Tarte Juicy palette. It's right there on my desk. So I don't really feel the need to add another like pinky color story from Tarte to my collection. That being said, I definitely think Tarte is underrated, like that Juicy palette I just showed you. I did an entire video with that and I actually thought that was a really good, really pretty palette, but like a lot of people just seem to hate on Tarte for like being boring and everything, but that palette was just really pretty. Okay guys, and these were it for the new holiday makeup releases that have been shared by Trend Mood and Sephora France on Instagram that I wanted to share with you guys. Let me know in the comment section what you think about these releases, which one excites you the most, and which ones you don't like as much. I would love to hear your opinion on these as well. And then of course, when more gets released throughout the holidays, I will continue to make videos like this to update you on what makeup releases are actually coming and my opinion on them. So if you did enjoy this video, then I would absolutely love it if you gave the thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell if you don't want to miss any of my videos. All of these things would help me so much with my channel and I'd really appreciate it. But with that said, and to thank you guys all so much for watching, I really hope you have an amazing day and I really hope to see you on my next video. Bye!